Namaste, Swadhika. My name is Aparna Patwardhan. I am the director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Embassy of India, Bangkok. Welcome to the webinar on anger and stress management. Every year on 21st June, we celebrate the International Day of Yoga. Yoga is an ancient physical, mental, and spiritual practice which has its origins in India. Ashtanga Yoga, which is classical yoga, was written and organized from older yoga systems by sage Patanjali in his Yoga Sutras, which was written between 500 BC and 400 BC. Yoga is an integrated practice of three different aspects, that is, asana, physical postures, pranayama, breathing techniques, and dhyana, meditation. In the eastern part of the world, especially in Thailand, the Buddhist practice of meditation or dhyana is widely practiced. Yoga and Buddhism are both meditative systems that share many common features, including ethical values such as non-attachment and mindful meditation. A fast-paced lifestyle and demanding workplaces have an undesirable impact on people. Anger and stress are very common in today's world. This affects the mental well-being of individuals in particular, and in turn has a larger impact on societies. How can we overcome these negative impacts? Are there meditation techniques that can help people to lead a more healthy life? To know more and to learn a few meditation techniques, we have invited Mr. Nitin Govila. Mr. Govila is managing director of a French building material company based in Singapore. He has been a practitioner of and trainer for Heartfulness meditation for the last 20 years. We welcome Mr. Nitin Govila to the event.
Good day. Welcome all. Thank you, Ms. Aparna, for this introduction, and welcoming you all for this interesting short session on managing stress and anger, which will be done by Heartfulness. I'll give you my brief introduction later as we go along. So good to have you all, and hopefully you will take some advantage out of this session, which can help you in those situations of managing stress and anger. And on behalf of Heartfulness, I also want to thank the Indian Council of Cultural Relations in Bangkok, and specifically Ms. Aparna, for giving us this opportunity to talk a little bit about some guided practices which can help people in these difficult times. So let's begin with a small check-in. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean check-in? I'm sure in today's time, many of us have started traveling, so we know the literal meaning of check-in, but here it's more about possibly you're coming from different situation, conditions, or day's work. So let's try to do a small check-in where we will ask you to just connect with your heart for a minute, and at least it establishes a baseline based on which you can start kind of taking the advantage of this session. So just request you to put your phones on silent or switch off mode. Gently close your eyes and bring your attention to your heart, and just try to remain connected and observe yourself. We'll do it for a minute. Okay, you can now gently open your eyes. So, in those of you who might be wondering, this check-in kind of establishes a baseline if you're coming from different situations or environment, and even you can use it for your internal or any other meetings where you suddenly as a group meet together, just to ensure that there's a common base and energy which is running across all people, and so that when you start your meeting or sessions, you will have a very different level of interaction and involvement. So let's move ahead for today's session. Just as I said, I'll share briefly about myself. So I'm Nitin Govila. I'm a trainer with Heartfulness. I've been practicing this meditation practice for 20 plus years. I've been also been a trainer for 20 plus years, for the same amount of time. We as trainers, we are volunteers for Heartfulness. So Heartfulness provides this practice of meditation free to anybody who's interested, and we don't charge for that. So as volunteers also, we are providing these practices, giving our personal time. So on my other side, in my professional life, I work for a French company managing the responsibility of a building material company for Asia Pacific, Middle East and Africa region. And I've been also traveling in the region and sharing about these practices of Heartfulness wherever I have a chance to do so. And there are many volunteers like that, which I'll share with you later across the world and even in Thailand, to help people start this practice. So what is Heartfulness? Heartfulness is basically, as the name goes, it's a heart-based practice. It's a system which provides simple practices for relaxation, heart-based meditation, which can help in regulating the mind, which then helps you to build your inner strengths and attitudes to create a lasting sense of fulfillment and overall well-being. Key important part is it's all related to the heart, and how is that difference between any other kind of practice, or depending on if somebody of you have been exposed to a different set of practices. So we'll take you through those guided, some of the guided practices today, so that you can understand when we say what is heart-based meditation. And also the second element, which I just talked about earlier, that this practice is offered free to anybody who is above the age of 16, can have access to a trainer or can have access to the practices wherever they are in the world. The Heartfulness Institute or the Heartfulness organization and the volunteers who are working as trainers, we don't charge any money for that. So this is offered to the community at large, no matter whoever the person is. So we are present, Heartfulness is present across 150 countries across the world. In many countries, we have as legal entities, as societies, as non-profit charities, or whatever the local laws and organized countries permit. In some other countries, we may have just the practitioners who meet as a group and practice together, even though we may not have a legal entity. So we are present in nearly 150 countries across the world. We are set of nearly few million of practitioners across the world, who are supported by a network of nearly 14 to 15,000 trainers, who are available for any person either to experience this practice of meditation face to face or in a group, or also virtually, which has been the trend in the last few years. So how to gain access to those trainers? As you see, there's an app where you can go, or there's a website where you can go called Hotspots, and also we'll give you the other links at the end of the presentation if you want to be connected to a trainer within Thailand, and then you can start your practice if you want to be connected to a local speaking, language speaking, or any English speaking trainer. So that's what Heartfulness has been doing. We also do many sessions for community at large. It could be schools, colleges, residential communities, or even at organizations where we have specific tailored programs where a trainer will come and talk about a certain concept related, which could be useful for managers and professionals, and at the same time connect it with the element of any Heartfulness practice, so that in that 45 minutes to 1 hour session, all the professionals can take a great advantage of that. So we have been doing sessions also for some companies in Thailand and across the world, and feel free to contact us if you would like to know more. Now, what are the Heartfulness practices, and what I'll take you through some of these practices today. One is relaxation, where we try to relax the body, mind, and heart. We try to bring in sync with each other, and it's a set of commands which you just follow. We relax our body from feet to the top of the head, and all parts of the body, so that then if you want to use it as something to do before your meditation, you can, or just to even relax yourself at different times of the day. So then the second practice, which is the core practice, is the meditation, which obviously we will have a guided session at the end of the session today. We'll do at least a 10-minute guided meditation session, so you'll understand what we do and how we do. We also have what we call as mental detox or rejuvenation or cleaning, which you can use and you can follow. I will do a certain kind of cleaning also today as a guided session, which can help you to kind of work on this element of the topic which we are going to cover, which is manage stress and anger. And the fourth is a small bedtime meditation, where we try to bring in connection with our heart and go to sleep immediately, so that during our sleep, subconsciously also we are connected, and then in the morning when we start our meditation, we can establish that immediately we can go into a meditative state. So these are the four core practices. Two of them we are going to cover today. Now let's come to the topic of today. What are your stress triggers? And I let you just take a few seconds just to think and make a note of yourself. And I'm sure many of us already know what is my or stress triggers, or what actually creates or which triggers me in that sense. Now, why it's important is because I'll take you through the way the brain functions later, and that's very important to know what is a trigger. So I hope you may have noted down in that sense. Now, just to understand, if you take a step back in terms of thought process, I don't know how many of you know that our mind has nearly 70,000 thoughts a day, which would mean one thought every 1.25 seconds. So it's a lot. We may be only aware of few things we are working, where your conscious mind is aware of it and we are paying attention to it. But many of the thoughts we are not even aware. So where are those? Why are they coming? Why are they going? They are mostly those random thoughts, and mostly sometimes we oscillate between worrying about thinking about the past or worrying about the future. So as the neuroscientists or neurologists say, this is the default mode network of the mind, that we are in continuously in that negative thing, that we are thinking about the past or worrying about the future. So we are always oscillating between that. And many of these thoughts, as you know, as you would have assumed or thought, that basically, if we have so many thoughts, how much are we aware of? I'm talking to you, maybe I'm only remembering what I have to speak now, or maybe something more, one or two things more. But there are 68,000 thoughts, or 69,000, which is going at the back end. And that's where the subconscious mind plays a role, where it's observing, it's noticing, thoughts are coming, but we are not even aware of it. Now, why is that important? It's important because when you know that there are so many thoughts which are happening, then training the mind becomes much more relevant and important as ever. And it will also help you then to manage your stress and anger. So let's go a little bit deeper now in the way how the brain works. So brain has three parts. There's the first primitive part, as you see here, which exists in every living being, which is very primitive and reflects and relates to the body functions. Then you have the limbic part of the brain, which is also primitive, but this is where the subconscious resides, which is related to feeling and no language. It's only working through the feeling element. And the recent part of the brain is the cortex part, which is related to rational thinking, prefrontal cortex, what you're focusing on, what you're aware of, and that's where it communicates through the language. Now, these three elements are very key when you go to the next step and try to understand how it works. So imagine we talked about the trigger for stress. Imagine it's also the trigger for anger. So there are triggers for stress and there are triggers for anger. It could be the same, it could be different. Now, when a trigger happens, the amygdala, which you saw in the previous part, where you see here, which is in the primitive part of the brain or the limbic part of the brain, it triggers, it kind of gets activated in terms of to perceive whether it's a threat or not through that trigger which you're facing. In that sense, fear, anger, or stress. Now, if it perceives a threat, then it immediately gets hijacked. And when it gets hijacked, all the blood flow, which should have been in the frontal part of the brain where you could be working and doing things, suddenly most of the blood flow gets diverted to this amygdala area. And that's where what happens is everything is then getting into a situation of under being emotional triggers, meaning their subconscious, which is residing. And if you remember, I spoke about the feeling element. That's where the rational part shuts down and the blood flow goes to the the feeling part of the brain or the subconscious part of the brain. Now, when you are in this hijack, which is called an hijack, when this happens, it takes nearly 45 minutes to recover. But at the same time, the trigger window is only for you 45 seconds. So within 45 seconds or 1 minute, if you're able to manage that trigger, then you can avoid the hijack. But if the hijack happens, then you are in that hijack for 45 minutes to 1 hour. So when you are, and then in that situation, when you take a decision, which is coming from the emotional element, then it's about poor decisions, wasted time, and it can also affect your health, and because the human system cannot withstand continuous hijack. So that's where then, if you try to understand what's the process to make a good decision, because in the end, why do we want to manage anger and stress? Why? Because we feel suddenly when we are stressful or when we get angry, we lose control. We're getting mostly emotionally driven. We're not able to do things productively. A lot of things are affecting us, not only physically but physiologically, and also it affects our relationships around us. So then when you look at a good decision process, which helps you to also manage those triggers and avoid those stressful amygdala hijacks or related to anger, then the good decisions basically are sum total of thinking, feeling, intuition, and wisdom. Now, thinking, how does it start? So thinking part is already happening through the rational part, but at the first step, the amygdala does the safety check. Now, if you're able to pass that, because you're able now in a better control of yourself to manage those triggers, then the rational part of the thinking is still active and working on it. But now, then the primal or the limbic part of the brain, where the subconscious resides, that plays also, and there's a lot of wisdom because of the so many thousands of thoughts which are at the back end. That primal part of the brain then is also able to transmit some new wisdom and intuition, or I won't say new, but which exists inside you, but you're not able to extract that through the element of feeling. So when you take all these three elements, and when this feeling element is being transmitted, it's through a feeling, not through a thinking or a language. So your mind needs to be at rest to be able to perceive that. And when you're able to perceive that, you will be able to take a good decision. So many times you hear in societies, some leaders, whether they are in business field, political field, and everything, they would always say it didn't feel right. Everything looked logical in terms of numbers and everything, but still I didn't feel comfortable to take that decision. Why? Because something in their heart told them that maybe it's not making sense or we should not do it. So that's where managing those triggers becomes very important. And how do you manage that then becomes the real question, because how to avoid that hijack becomes the real question. Now, before we go on how part of it, we also a little bit, let's delve deeper now on the anger part of it. We've talked about stress, but in my understanding, both are to some extent quite connected also, because anger can also come through related to unfulfilled desires, which can also happen related for stress, failed plans, you're not able to do well, you're not able to get people to listen to you. So a lot of these things are anger, but also related to stress. And that's where detoxing the anger or finding a way to manage the anger becomes key, because as His Excellency Dalai Lama said, that the ultimate source of happiness is in our peace of mind. So for that to destroy, it can only be the anger. So that's why the anger, if it's not used properly, sometimes anger you see with sports people, other people, they use it to internal motivation. But most of the time, if it's not used properly, it can destroy relationships, families, it can lead to bitterness and revenge. You will lose friends, nobody wants to associate with that. And sometimes when you realize that you did a wrong decision, then it can lead to guilt and shame. And it also affects every part of our body, physically also, physiologically also. It's kind of an uncontrollable energy which flows through, affecting emotion, thought, and action. And then obviously there's an element of physical effects. So how do you then find a way to manage these distortions which happen? And that's where I'm reminded of a saying which Buddha once said, that people may use unkind words and try to humiliate you, but that's their problem. But the moment we react, it becomes our problem, and we become the slave. So how to avoid that is to be able to master your emotion, because everybody has a trigger. Even if you meditate, there are times where you may get angry, or sometimes you may have to act angry. So, but the moment you're aware of your anger and develop good understanding, then it's easy to use it as a tool for self-growth and self-transformation. So this is where then understanding how anger can affect and also stress, and both are connected, then at least there is a solution which we call as meditation. Because as I said earlier, not only meditation reduces the default mode network, It also helps in managing of random thoughts. It also helps you to ignore negative thoughts, and then you're able to maintain that peace of mind. Now, science has also been talking about it more and more. There have been studies on a certain control audience where they've realized that meditative mind is less prone to stress. In fact, the gray matter in amygdala has been found to change with meditation. It increases the bandwidth of the executive part of the brain also to lead to better emotional regulation and rational thinking. And it also improves attention control and self-awareness. So having understood this, now the time comes to take you through some guided practices which can help you actually when you are in this situation, or even help you to be prepared to manage those triggers. So what are we going to do today? One, we are going to do a left nostril breathing, which is very useful at the time when the trigger happens. As I said, we have a window only of 45 seconds to 1 minute. So how to do it, we'll take you through that, and that can help you at other times of the day also. We talked about detoxing, rejuvenation in my earlier slides about core practices. So here we'll take you through one practice, which is Ocean of Bliss, how you can do to remove the burdens of the day, and it can really relax your full body and also make you feel lighter and rejuvenated. And the third one would be the guided meditation. So let's start with the first one, which is left nostril breathing. Now the question may come in your mind, why are we saying left nostril breathing? So for that, you need to understand the body has two parts, a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic part, which is related to the part where it's the part where the heart is, which means the left side of your body, is connected to relaxation and energy conservation. Whereas the sympathetic part, which is the right side of your body, is all about activation, energy usage, energy consumption, and all about activity. Now, that is where when we do this left nostril breathing on the left side, which means we are trying to activate the parasympathetic part, we are able to immediately bring relaxation to our body system and all to our nerves, and which affects positively the whole body. So why? And then again, as I remind you, it's very important to be alert. What is your trigger? And the moment you are alert, then you can take a small space for yourself. And it's very easy to do. We'll take you through that. You just have to take a right thumb, close your right nostril, and take 10 deep breaths inside and out. You can count it, and then immediately you're able to relax your body and avoid this hijack. And then you can carry on with your activity. So it's a few second video. So let's I think do it together. Request you to just sit comfortably and relax, and just follow this video, and let's do it together.
Relax your body and mind. Close your right nostril with your right thumb.
Just follow.
Slowly inhale through your left nostril, breathing deep into your abdomen. And exhale through your left nostril. Smile while you breathe. Repeat this 9 more times.
So very easy to do. You can try it yourself. If you still feel you need to do, you can repeat one more time the same cycle. We've got feedback that time people have used this even before sleep, and they felt that they've had a very good relaxing sleep also. So you could try that also before you sleep. Now after this, then comes to, if you're already in that anger situation, which can happen, maybe you were not able to avoid the trigger, then you will always feel heavy, as I spoke to you about that. It's an emotional reaction. It leaves an impression on your consciousness. and then you are in that sad, unhappy, or maybe a certain state. So how to bring back that same joyful state? This is where if you're able to find a method which can help you to clean yourself and free yourself from those effects, then you are able to reduce the burdens of that anger. And this is what we call as a guided ocean of peace cleaning. Basically what we do is, and I will let you look at this video and try it yourself later, is that we imagine, sit comfortably. You could sit in any sitting comfortable posture with crossed legs, on a chair, sofa, or on the bed, just a sitting straight comfortable posture. And you just imagine that you are swimming in an ocean of peace, and suddenly when the waves come, all the waves, then they come and wipe out all your burdens inside you, and that which is leaving you of that or depriving you of that joyful state. All those burdens are being taken away, and the waves wash it away from the back of your body. So you're imagining you're swimming in that ocean of peace, and the waves, when they come, they take away all the burdens from inside you and take it with them. So this is what we call as a guided ocean of peace. Now, very important is, you don't imagine this thing or that thing should go away. You just imagine the waves take away all the burdens and the complexities from inside you and take it away. So that's what we call guided ocean of peace. You could do it for 5 minutes, you could do it for 10 minutes, and generally after that you'll feel lighter and relaxed. So again, here I'll play a small video for you to watch. You can think about it, and then whenever you have time, you can do it. And irrespective of whether you are in that situation of anger or not, I will still suggest you to do this as a complementarity to your meditation, which we will obviously do in next few minutes time later, to do it during the day or in the evening, so that it can complement your practice and you can start also going deeper and deeper in your meditation. So let's watch this video.
Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Imagine that you are in a gentle ocean of peace.
And sit comfortably with your eyes closed.
The waves are soothing and blissful. Have the firm thought that you are immersed in this ocean of peace, and the waves are removing all your coverings. Do this for as long as you can, but no longer than 30 minutes.
And try to do it yourself now. So a very simple thing to do: sit comfortably, eyes closed. Imagine you're swimming or deep immersed in the ocean of peace, and the waves, which are soothing, when they come, they take away all the burdens and complexities from inside you, and they take it away with them, or they clean it away. So you don't have to think what is going on, but just imagine they are all going away. And you can, as said, obviously you can, if you can do longer, you will have much better result of it. But if you have a shorter time, even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can do and see the result of that. And at the end of it, when you stop with the conviction that you are clean now of that of those triggers or complexities. So that's it. You can just set a timer also depending on how much time you have to do this. So this is in a situation where you're feeling very stressful, very angry, and you just want to kind of calm yourself or relax yourself in that sense. So then last thing is obviously the main core practice, as the name goes, heartfulness meditation. I just wanted to first, take you through, because there's always a big confusion when people understand or perceive what meditation is, and I want to use a coordinate geometry to explain that. So if we plot between effort and effortless and focus and unfocus, daydreaming, I think we all know what it means, and I think we all still do it, and it does not require effort, it's unfocused, can go in every direction. Then when you do effort but it's in an unfocused way, then that's where also sometimes you feel frustrated. It could lead to stress, or it could even lead to anger. The key part here is to then differentiate between concentration and meditation, because many times when we ask, or I ask people, they always say meditation, I concentrate on this, or this is what I'm concerned, this is what it means for me. But actually there's a difference. Concentration is effort full focus, whereas meditation is effortless focus. So another way I used to define is, you don't concentrate to meditate, but you meditate to concentrate. Meaning concentration should be the byproduct of meditation. Meditation should be in such a way or such a method that it's a natural way, so that you're not using your mind. Because if you are using your mind to meditate, then how do you calm itself? How can you calm the same thing which you're using? So that's the whole idea here. We want to calm the mind and relax the mind. But the moment we say concentrate or focus, that means we are using the mind. But real meditation is where you don't use the mind, and then the result of that is the calming effect on the mind, or the concentration or other elements which you can get benefit out of. So that's where we mean it as effortless focus. And this is what we do in heartfulness, which is very, in that sense, a effortless focus. And how do we meditate in heartfulness? We request you to sit comfortably. Don't worry about the posture you see here. As long as you're in a sitting comfortable posture, that's fine. You gently close your eyes and bring your attention to your heart with a thought that there's a source of light which is illuminating inside your heart and is actually pulling you within. So you do it in just a very gentle and natural way. It's an initial thought you take to bring your attention to your heart. After that, you're not repeating the same thing continuously. Neither are you trying to look for any light or any color of light. It's just an initial thought. You bring your attention to your heart and rest there. After that, there may still be thoughts, mind may still be active. Don't worry. Let the thought come and pass by. Just ignore them. Be alert and ignore them. But if you get lost in a thought, also nothing to worry about it. You can gently come out of that thought, bring your attention to your heart, and restart the practice, restart the meditation. So this is what the whole meditation you will do. We are not trying to focus, concentrate on anything. Neither are we trying to block the thoughts. Neither are we trying to bring our attention to our breath. It's all natural. Just gently bring your awareness to our heart, and that's it. You're also not trying to listen or pay attention to your heartbeat. So nothing of that. The moment I say focus or concentration, that means you're bringing the mind. Here, you're just gently resting your awareness on your heart. So when you do with a trainer, the trainer will say, please start meditation, and you will start the practice. And at the end of the time, when the trainer says that's all, that is the end of the meditation. But we request people not to open their eyes immediately or abruptly. They should just try to remain connected for a minute or two to observe themselves, and thereafter gently open their eyes. So let's do this practice together, at least for the next 5 to 7 minutes, so that you can get a feel of that. And then we will reach the conclusion of today's session. So sit comfortably, gently close your eyes. Bring your attention to your heart with the thought that the source of light is illuminating inside your heart and pulling you with it. Just do it in a gentle and natural way. Please start meditation. That's all. Request you to remain connected with your heart, with your eyes closed. Observe yourself. And now you can gently open your eyes. So as you see, it's quite simple. You can use a timer. So if you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe do it. We did only for, I think, 8 to 9 minutes. I would really suggest to at least start with 15 to 20 minutes if you can. And as you go along and get comfortable, start increasing your time, and you will be able to see a bigger difference and a bigger change in your own meditation as you go along. So, and at the end of meditation, take out time to observe yourself and you can make some notes in your diary, just one word, keywords, how do you feel, and etc. etc. You can also make it a transformative journey for yourself by doing this regularly. I'll tell you through the different apps we have. You can use those apps to make your practice a regular one. You can connect with the trainer also and take one-to-one sessions like we did now, or face-to-face, depending on wherever you're living and wherever there's a trainer or not. So this is an app I talked about, Heart in Tune, which can help you to really help your meditation a regular habit. You can set your goals. You have some of the micro practices also for relieving stress, for relieving anxiety and everything. So you can use that, and you can set timers also and set a time of practice. It can remind you and everything. So that can help you in your journey. If you wish to be connected to a trainer, I call this app, Hearts app, as the Uber of meditation, that just to press on a app, you can get connected to a trainer any part in the world, and you can have your one-to-one session with a trainer, which could be minimum 20 to 30 minutes. So when you get a ping that your session is starting immediately, and then after when the session ends, you'll get another ping that your session is over. So you can also use that in your practice. And finally, we have many tools which you can use. Go to our website, to Heartfulness, download magazines, read very interesting articles if you wish to learn more. Now, slowly and slowly, different retreats have started. You can also maybe travel to India or any place else, or contact your local center if they are meeting regularly, weekly, for the group meditation sessions. In Thailand, we have a center, kind of a group in Bangkok. We also have a YouTube page where all the meditation, relaxation, other videos are translated or dubbed in Thai or with Thai subtitles. And we also have a Thai Facebook page called Heartfulness Thailand, where you can get access to what all has been happening. So that's it from my side, and thank you all for your participation and patient listening. I wish I was able to bring some elements which can help you in your practice and help you to manage stress and anger, and maybe in the future you can continue with this interesting journey with Heartfulness. So thank you all. Swastika Kap, and wish you a very good day and a good week ahead and good meditating.